Hello everybody, Hulk here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode, 374. And today we're going to be talking about the Inner Sphere mech, the Duan Gung, or Duan Gun, something like that. It's a 25-ton mech, it's a 711-6, has Indo steel with 10 double heat sinks, so, and 4 tons of armor for 64 points. So, yeah, it's not too bad for a 25 ton. It's one of those mechs that gives me the feeling of like similar to a Valkyrie in some ways, but the Valkyrie is a lot slower. So, if you know how the Valkyrie plays, and probably play it very similar. But weapon systems on board. You have an LRM-10 in the center torso. We have a ton of ammunition in the right torso. We have an ER, or not an ER, but a medium laser in the right arm and a medium laser in the left arm. And we have 3 jump jets in the right torso and left torso each. So, being a 711-6, it does have some good mobility, but you got the XL engines, which stands to reason. It's like if you're going to have a mech that's light, you might as well put XLs on it to speed it up and give it some weapons to boot to go with it, and then maybe trying your best to get as much armor on the thing. Now this thing could easily have another ton of armor on it. I think you can put a ton and a half more on it before you max it out. So the amount of armor you have isn't necessarily there to, well, pretty much enough to keep the pilot from falling out. Because in the center torso you got 10, and then you have 8 in the right and left torsos. And then 6 in the legs and in the arms. Or is it like 5, I think, in the arms. So any good hit is going to just punch holes right through this thing. You hit it with AC-10 or a PPC, Inner Sphere style, and you're stripping armor off, or you're punching into the juicy parts. You hit it with a Clan PPC, well, you just ripped this thing completely apart, practically. You hit it in a torso, and it's dead. Just right there, DRT. So it behooves you to be moving this thing as fast as possible. It would have been nice to have one more jump jet with this thing, so you can get that 4 mod when you jump. That would have been nice. And the other thing that goes with this is that you got 2 medium lasers and an LRM-10. This thing, if you did have, you can jump 6 with this and still fire all your weapons with no problem, because it doesn't have to suffer from any type of heat problems. That's the nice thing about having 10 double heat sinks. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, it's one of those mechs that a couple medium lasers are good for a little bit of harassment up close to any targets. Kind of helps a little bit with the anti-light mech roll, or just running around the flanks and stuff. That's pretty much it. It's like you got that LRM-10 with a ton of ammunition with it, so you got 12 shots, so you can kind of run around the flanks and shoot away with that LRM-10. But when something gets in close, then you got a couple of medium lasers. But with the armor that you do have, this mech, if you got hit with a couple of medium lasers, it's going to be hurting itself. So it behooves you to, in the middle to late game, you don't want to get this thing stuck in early in the game. It's your typical problem you're going to have with any light mech, is that a good hit or two from any decent sized weapon, and you're usually in the day really quickly with one of these things. So yeah, 2 medium lasers in the same spot, you are punching a hole through the armor, unless you hit it in the center torso, and then in that case you just stripped all the armor off of it. So you have some good chances of being hit in the internal structure right off the bat. So that tells you, don't get this thing stuck in. So it's one of those medium or mid to late game type of mechs where after you shot enough turns, with your LRM-10 or sitting back behind some cover and doing some indirect fire, that's your best bet here, is just doing some indirect fire. Depends on your role you have. It does have a couple hand actuators. So, the snatch and grab style gains works for you. So you got that going for you. But, you don't want to get it stuck in early, or else it's just dead meat. Now, when things are shot up a bit more, then you can switch on the afterburns, come flying around the flanks, come into the rear and start gunning or looking for those open spots on some of those larger mechs. And by that time, they'll be looking for an easier target. And this may not necessarily be the best target for them to shoot at, especially if there's other heavier, slow-moving or medium mechs that are slow-moving that they have a better firing solution. So the odds are that it's probably going to get overlooked a little bit. Unless you got a really crazed pilot that says, I'm going to just swing for the fence and just see what if I can knock it over there and put a few rounds in one of these things and run it off. So that might be your one kind of threat you maybe is, somebody that's willing to take a gamble and knock a few holes in it. That which, you get a few holes knocked in one of these things, you're probably going to turn around and hightail it out of there. So you have that. So, yeah, that's pretty much when it comes to the main roles for the Duan Gung that I can see is that, now if you pack hunt with one of these, you get a lance of light mechs, do a pack hunting type style where you all run together, pick on one target. If you see another light mech off to the side someplace and your pack of, or your lance gains up on it, then you can start hammering away. It may get a good lick or two in on one of your mechs, but, the odds are in your favor. You should throw enough stuff at the wall, something's going to stick, and you might just take that light mech out, especially if it's something similar in capability as this mech is. You get some good, 15, 20 points of damage on a mech like this. They're going to know it. They'll be like, okay, I'm going to turn around and get out of here as quick as possible. So there's that. Now, there's a couple other versions of this mech running around on the battlefield. All right, we have, well, forgot to mention, battle value 737. All right, so we got that for the battle value. Okay, a little pricey, but when you're looking at what comes with it, not bad. Okay, you could be looking at less than 3,000 points to have a light lance running around causing havoc. Kind of worth it when it comes to that. Now the next version, this comes the G10, the one we just talked about, it's the G9, the G10. This one is an interesting one. It comes in at 900 battle value. This one has stealth armor, all right, and LRM-10 has been dropped in favor of the light PPC. Okay, you got the 18 range with the light PPC. It only does half the damage, so 5. So you got the problems you have typically with the standard PPC. That falls along with the light PPC. That's okay. You can live with that. You still got your 2 medium lasers, and then you got ECM. Now they dropped the Indo Steel for stealth armor, and you have Guardian ECM, because if you got stealth armor, you have to have Guardian ECM that go with that. So you're once again, you're back to the same thing. It's like you can jump this thing 6 and fire everything, and then you're going to be worried about a little bit of heat. That's not, you can do that for 4 turns and not worry too much. But if you're running the stealth armor, obviously, that comes with its little minor problems, but When it comes to long range, you're not worrying about too many things at all. And then it's when you start getting into the medium range, and then they're going to be able to pick you up and start tossing some rounds downrange at you if they want to. And then when you get in close, obviously, when you're running around close, the stealth armor is like, not going to be running that anymore. And then you can just start operating it as normal. Like I said, you could jump, fire everything, and then have some minor heat. That's it. So there is some goodness about that one. So it's one of those, this version here, if you want to hang back with the light PPC, do a little bit of 5-point block damage, and you got that going for you. So that's kind of nice. Then if you get in closer, then you can start throwing in the medium lasers. So, but if you want to shut down you get a C3 network on someplace, or they have Artemis or anything like that, that Guardian ECM is going to be very handy. Especially if you're running the stealth armor. It's like, my whole job is just get back there amongst them and shut off the network. And with the stealth armor going for you, it's like they just look at you and go, okay, all right, here he comes. It's not till he gets in close that we probably have a good shot at doing some damage to it. But until that point, they just kind of look at you. And it's the same thing when at medium range. There's going to be some mods to hit him, but it's even more, especially if you're running the stealth armor and then you're doing your all-out moving straight down the line, or you jumping. You're going to be able to get the 4 mod by running, or you're going to get a 3 mod by jumping. So, and if you jump into any type of terrain like woods or anything, that's even greatly increased too. So they'll just look at you, and the firing solution is going to be really high unless they're running pulse lasers and target computer with a good pilot. So there's that. But if that's the case, you may not be getting close to it anyway. So you're just like, oh, that's their good pilot with a good gunner and the good weapons. Yeah, I'm going to avoid that thing myself. So there's that going for you. But yeah, this would the G10 would be a good one for shutting down networks, or just getting in there and putting a line of sight blockage for Artemis fire control. So there's that. Then there's a custom variant here, Duan Gung Vaughn version. All right, this one takes the 2 LRM5s, or replaces the LRM10 with 2 LRM5s, which totally makes sense to me. If you got the space to do it, you should always go in favor. It's like an LRM10, even an LRM15. Give yourself 3 LRM5s and run, a couple more tons of ammunition or something. It works out pretty good that way. And you're saving your tonnage. And by going from an LRM10 to 2 LRM5, you save a ton. Comes in at 850 battle value. And that extra ton goes into more armor. So now it has 5 tons of armor rocking out there. So it's got 80 points. Well, it's half a ton short of maximum, which is nice. Then you're able to take a few more hits going forward there. And this one still is running around with the Indo steel. So there's that. So basically you're just flopping a couple of your weapon systems around that route there. Now, the interesting thing I would do with that one is also my 2 medium lasers. I would swap them out for a couple ER medium lasers. Even the G10 I'd probably swap out for a couple ER medium lasers. That way you gain a little bit more range. Damage output's the same, but you gain some extra distance with your medium lasers. And yeah, I can get behind that, especially you're not worrying too much about heat anyway. It's like, even with a couple ER medium lasers and 2 LRM5s in that version, and then if you jump to 6, you're not worried too much about heat at all. It's like, unless something happens, like taking an engine in or something, or get hit with an infernal, you're just like, we're We're just running around nice and neutral. And if you're running, you never worry about the heat at all, for that part. And that same thing could be said about the G10. If you're not running the stealth armor, having a couple ER medium lasers and a light PPC, yeah, if you're running, you don't worry about heat either. So that's a nice thing too. So yeah, get behind that really quick. All right. And the other thing is, if you did drop the like the standard version, drop it down, you could put a half ton of armor and then add another jump jet, which I could get behind pretty quickly too. Make it a 7-11-7 and able to get that 4 mod when you jump. That to me is an important addition also. So there. That is a Duan Gung. Not a bad little light mech. Similar to the Koshi, and I do believe it says the Koshi's kind of based on this one, and this one's based on the Duan Gung is based on the Sling also. So a lot of heritage of different mechs are all wrapped up in this thing. So there you go. That's a Duan Gung. I hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Hellcrex out.